Ladies and gentlemen, this is the newest episode of the Star Road Podcast. Tyler, how are you today?
Sterling, it's been a long 2 weeks, it feels like.
Definitely.
Does it feel that way to you?
Yeah.
We haven't really talked
does.
that much in the last couple weeks. So this podcast, I feel like, is almost going to be like a catch up on top of all the other usual programming.
Definitely. We actually haven't had too much time catching up, you know.
Definitely. So pretty excited for that. But yeah, man, really excited for this episode. We got a lot of great stuff to talk about. First and foremost being the Kirby review. I mean, let's just come out and say it. This was something that we were extremely hype on, extremely excited for the release of, and it's finally here. We finally have spent a good amount of time playing it, and we're gonna really dive into it this episode.
Definitely, man. I'm looking forward to it. The game is fantastic.
It really is.
I think it's even more than I think I expected.
I would agree with that.
And I was expecting a lot, you know, but you get a feeling from this. It's kind of similar to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. When you get on it, you feel like you're home.
Absolutely.
I was thinking about that earlier, how these games come out, and that's when you know. Like when you hop on it, you just feel, you know, like you're in a place you belong, basically. You know?
It just feels natural. You pick up and you need no further explanation.
Yeah. We have a lot more news today than usual. I got to say that.
Yeah, it's been a chock full couple weeks, and I feel like we're going to see that more and more. Once we start to get into the summer, that's when we start seeing announcements for the holidays and everything like that really start ramping up. So I think these next few news segments are going to be pretty fun for the next few episodes.
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, it's going to be constant catch up, you know.
Definitely.
So I'm looking forward to going through that. The top 5 is really something that I brought to Tyler as an idea, and I think we're going to roll with it. And we're going to start up a Star Road Hall of Fame.
I can't wait.
We're basically going to put 5 games apiece into the Hall of Fame, and we're going to do it in installments, basically.
Yep.
This is just volume 1, so basically this is the how did I put it to you earlier? Like the pantheon of our collective gaming.
Definitely, you know? Dude. Mix of what we love with what we know is great and historic.
Yeah, and a lot of it is coming out the gate going to be a lot older.
Definitely.
For me, like I said, it's all, I think, pre-2000.
I think my oldest game is very early 2000s. Or my newest game is early 2000s.
Yeah. So it's exciting to get that rolling. I'm looking forward to see what you have on round 1, you know, because the first 5 it's a big 5, dude.
You could probably pick 4 out of the 5 or all 5 in your first 6 or 7 guesses for me.
I had like 13 games down, and I think 3 of them were just absolute no-brainers, and then I was sweating the last 2.
Don't expect these to be games we've never talked about before. That's the complete opposite.
Bit.
That's the complete opposite of what we're going for.
Yeah, you could listen to 2-3 episodes.
Yeah, any episode and hear at least one of, you know, probably between the two of us, probably like on average, we probably talk about like 3 to 5 of these 10 games like per episode.
Probably.
So yeah.
But like I said, with 10 minutes of you just focusing, I think you could put my 5 together. But
Definitely.
I'm looking forward to doing the top 5, and then we'll have this arsenal building up, you know.
That's right.
And it's going to be cool to, I don't know how often we'll do it, but I mean, hey, we will always have that, you know.
Yep. Really excited for that.
So let's get into the news. This is something I mentioned to you this morning. I didn't catch a YouTube trailer. Usually when we get these announcements for anything Switch Online related, you get a trailer on YouTube. Not this time. I actually noticed on the Switch Online tab on the Switch. Mm-hmm. And I saw Mario Golf coming for 14 on N64. And I thought back and I remember, we were talking about it as if it was already on.
Yeah. I think we were getting mixed up with the tennis.
And we got our wires crossed, man. But I got to tell you, the first thing I thought about, 4/14, we're getting Mario Golf on N64. I can't wait to play that with you.
Yeah, man, we've been playing golf still. I mean, it never goes away.
Steady on Super Rush.
Definitely
hasn't lost momentum. So it's cool that we can actually play this online as if you were here.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
On N64. I mean, this is one of the best inclusions I think they could have made for us.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but I have been playing tennis a lot. So I feel like I'm right in the right mindset to start playing this already. Been playing the 64 tennis, been playing Super Rush, so this is going to slot in perfectly.
And I played the N64 Mario Golf like a month ago.
That's right. You bought is that one that you have in Japanese?
Copy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got it for like $10, man.
That's awesome. I don't know if I ever played the N64 version before.
You got to look into the Japanese N64 games. They're very affordable, bro.
Yeah, man.
I could see that being something you'd be heavily into. I mean, I got Crystal Shards for like $12.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And I think you are correct. I was actually playing Crystal Shards for a while recently. I don't think there is any text in that game.
I don't think there's a single piece of text after you get out of the menu.
Nope.
Not at all.
Numbers are numbers. They just are what they are. You know, that's a perfect game to get in Japanese and get the same experience.
It's the top one of games to get in Japanese, just for
no
that
question.
sheer, like, because you got Animal Forest as well, and that's amazing. But it's borderline unplayable if you don't know at least some Japanese, right? I mean, that's going to be, or have some sort of translation tool available to you.
Yeah, you can marvel at the music and the graphics, and you could walk around and even see what residents you have or whatever.
Yep, and you could probably play through. You could probably play through at least the beginning part of the story too, just from knowing it like by heart,
knowing the order of options.
Yeah,
and, but it's definitely not ideal.
No, but for something like Kirby Crystal Shards, like. It just blows me away thinking about, like, there's no difference. Like, there's literally no reason. Once you hit one player, like, there's no text from that point.
Yeah. Not to kill the high, but we got some bad news from Nintendo, but it's okay news because we like the upfront approach to marketing with their, with the games they do. But Breath of the Wild 2 has been delayed.
Yep.
Until spring 2023. You
hate to see it, but you could have guessed it was coming at the same time because they've been very quiet about it. They sort of let us know that they were, planning to release it towards the end of this year. Not going to happen now at this point, but I would much rather, you have the same sentiment. Everyone feels the same way that's in the know. Like, I would 10 times prefer them take their time and make it as good as they can rather than rushing it out.
Definitely. I would have loved to have had Metroid Prime 4 by now. But I actually think it was, I always talk about how bold of a move it was that they shit canned
the entire project,
the whole project, and just
started over.
Just swap devs and just started over. That's such a bold move.
Yeah.
You think about the resources they put into it and the time, and then you think about hitting the delete button. I mean, that's huge, dude.
I have a big theory that I haven't talked to you yet that I think that Prime 4 is going to come out this holiday.
That's going to be the hot FPS for a minute.
I think this summer they're going to announce it for this holiday season. That's my Star Road prediction from Tyler. I'll put my name on that.
I hope you're right. I really do. We'll see how soon they follow up after Dread. I think Dread was a great holdover. No question.
No question.
And you own Dread, don't you?
I do. I've played through the first couple levels. Still working my way through it. there's a big backlog that I am working on. That's something we'll talk about in gaming and pickups. I am working on my backlog actively, so
I am too.
I will get to it.
And the thing about it is that stops me from demolishing these new releases, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you already are in the midst of shit that you're currently playing.
That's correct. And I am
so
taking
Triangle
on...
Strategy got held up, and then Arceus even got held up.
Yeah, I played a lot of Triangle Strategy last podcast cycle. This time around, I have not played it much. I'm still stuck on one fight. I don't think I've played it since I talked about it last podcast. There's one fight that I'm just not having much success with. I think I need to grind the squad a little bit before I can really reliably beat it.
Oh shit, the same one.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't know if I've actually played it at all since then.
Yeah, I played a little bit since then, but I actually think you're further than me.
Yeah, I think
it's
I'm a good bit.
One of those games I feel like I'm at home when I play it.
No question.
Like we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm. It's a cozy place to be for sure.
Definitely. But the delay on Breath of the Wild 2, we have no problem with it.
Yeah.
Take your time. We'll see what happens.
These things happen, right?
Definitely. Shout out to Nightmare Reaper, officially out of early access as of the 28th of March.
Yeah, I think last episode you talked about just having beaten the content that's available. Is that right?
I had beaten the available content a while back.
Okay.
So I was kind of just sitting, like at the end of a finished save file. I was like, oh, thanks for playing. Like,
so is there more content
screen
now for you to play?
Oh yeah, there's like a whole new chapter and all kind of new elements to the game. When I hopped on after I saw the announcement that it was out of early access, it's like being on, an overhauled game. I mean, it's totally different now, kind of.
That's awesome.
Like the skill tree and everything's completely changed and things like that. And then there's like double the achievements on Steam now. There's like almost 200 achievements on it. I was like, oh shit! Like I almost had the game completed before. Now I got it like half completed.
Nice. That's awesome though.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm looking forward to hopping back on that. We got a Quake add-on. They've been doing these very low key. They don't really announce these things on like the Steam developer, like that feed you get when you follow a game. Mm-hmm. They announced the Honey one, but then they didn't really announce many others. Like it was Honey and then 64. And then the other ones that came in between, kind of just no mention of it. They were just in the game.
Yeah.
Like, when I would check. If I didn't check, I actually wouldn't even know about them. But from time to time, I'll hop on Quake and just check the add-ons just to see because they don't say anything. But we got one called Terra from 2005. This was made by same guy who did Honey. Level designer at Machine Games. Mm-hmm. And it's inspired by Doom. I fired into it. I didn't play it for too long. I didn't have a lot of time when I fired into it. But when I first saw it, I was like, oh, shit. Let me see what's up with this. But apparently the combat in this is inspired by Doom. So we're interested.
Definitely.
Quake, Doom, happy place.
100%.
My question is, are we getting Quake for Sega Saturn next? Because that's when I'm going to feel complete. I want to play Sega Saturn Quake with a mouse and keyboard.
That'd be really interesting.
And that's all I want. Especially after finishing Power Slave. Mm-hmm. Since they had so much, that was the engine it was built on for the Saturn. So, that might be really cool to play that if it's true to the original engine and it still having that, I think it was called the Slave Driver engine.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I haven't forgotten about these boomer shooters. I don't want you to think that I'm not interested.
Oh,
it's
man.
It's just part of the massive backlog.
Yeah, no. Well, we're going to talk about gaming and pickups. But the last thing on the news is basically some April Fool's Day gaming-related things. Yeah. So Among Us got a horse mode for one day. I found out about this after, so I didn't actually get to partake. But apparently for one day you could play as horses. So that was worth mentioning.
Sure.
A Short Hike, a game that I've talked about frequently on here. They had a multiplayer mod launched basically where when you hop on, everybody who's on the same island. And everybody's just existing in the same space, completing tasks and just playing the game.
That's crazy. Just to make that live like that.
Yeah, and it's only live for I think 4 more days. He said they were going to keep it up for 2 weeks and then take the server down. But I think there actually is like fan servers. You can make your own server or something.
That's awesome.
No communication or anything like that, but I thought it was really cool to see other people playing and just kind of, like I said, coexisting on the mountain and everything. But we did get a very real announcement on the 1st of April, and it was not a prank. And that is Rivals of Aether 2.
Really excited when you sent me this trailer, man.
A pretty big deal if you know anything about the podcast at all.
Yeah. It looks incredible.
I wanted to ask you, what did you think when you watched the trailer, like when you saw this?
I feel extremely inclined to try it. It definitely gives off a big Smash vibe. I mean, there's no secret that that's the sort of feeling that they're trying to emulate, right? It's not like they're copying everything, copying, pasting from Smash. All the characters have their own complete unique mechanics and everything, but
the inspiration is clearly there.
The inspiration is there, and that was evident in the 2D version in the first game. But now it's even twofold being in 3D. It looks gorgeous. I mean, it looks absolutely fantastic. So I'm very excited. I'll be picking this up, for sure. And excited to play it with you and see if I can get good at it.
Oh, man. Well, if you're picking it up, we'll be playing it because I'm going to play the shit out of this. Like I said, I'm very familiar with the first one. So watching the combat, it seems very true to the roots. Mm-hmm. So I'm really looking forward to playing this. Like I said, I play Zetterburn personally. I was watching the Zetterburn gameplay. Doesn't look like there's any tweak to the moveset. Raster looks the same. It pretty much just looks like a 3D polished version of the 2D game. And I feel like people will hop on it too and still play the first one. And I think it's a perfect marriage, right? Like people play Melee and Ultimate.
Myself, yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
So I'm looking forward to it. 2024 is a ways off, so I'm sure the game's going to look even better by then. I mean, this is just what they're showing us,
Yeah, that's a long lead time on that, but...
How about we get into gaming and pickups and keep the program rolling, Tyler?
That sounds good, man. Do you want to start?
I can start, yeah. And I wanted to bring up something first and foremost about a game we've talked about recently, Nintendo Switch Sports.
Okay.
Now, I've done a complete 180 since we first talked about this, and I said I think I might have been quoted saying minimal interest.
I remember
That's
that.
really...
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
And I feel like as these trailers came out, I was starting to warm up to it. And I don't know, something just finally hit me, man. You said something about, it's like... whatever it was, $40.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched the newest trailer, and I was just like, you know what, dude? I went on Amazon and saw the physical was $10 more with the leg strap and the big box. I said, you know what? Fuck it, dude. I'm on board. So I did pre-order that, and I'm looking forward to that very much, dude.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun, man. I love Wii Sports. I mean, as we all do, right? That's no question. So I'm excited for it for the social aspect of it, right? Like, I have people over I don't know about frequently, but occasionally, right? And I feel like that is the perfect thing to break out at a moment's notice and just get in some sports. Like everybody's familiar with the concept because of Wii Sports. So that is what entices me the most.
And the fact that they're coming out with a golf, I could just see that being a regular thing for me and you.
That's a given. When the golf is out, that's going to be a common thing for me. If there's a ladder or any kind of competitive on there,
you're going to be trying for the top spot, huh?
I don't know about the top spot, but I'm going to be playing ranked, like for sure.
Yeah. No, but I mean, they could really wind up making a solid golf game, dude, that we really just get on and exclusively play golf for a while,
Do you ever play Wii Sports Resort?
I'm not sure if I specifically played Resort.
I mean, you've seen it on Summoning Salt, of course.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, I've played Wii Sports a handful of times, and I don't ever know if it was Resort or not. I've
those
just played
golf games, I mean, both of those golf games are great for what they are. Like, I have no question in my mind that the Switch Sports iteration will be also quite good. And the fact that it's coming out later than everything else is mildly like irritating for me, right? Because that's the feature I would most be interested in, but it does intrigue me to make me think that they're putting a lot into it and they're not just going to release some busted version and fix it later.
Yeah.
I'm willing to be patient, but I love my golf.
Absolutely. But I just wanted to mention I did pre-order that physically. And it's going to be like 5 days after the next episode, so we'll talk about it after it comes out. I don't know if you're getting it day one, but
I haven't decided yet.
If you decide to, we can definitely get into all the sports on there,
Definitely, dude.
And see what's up. But as far as shit I've been playing, Doom Eternal, I'm playing on the PC. I had played through a lot of it on the Switch, and then now I just kind of started fresh and just at the end of the game on PC. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, still grinding just all through the Grand Prix, getting all the 3 stars, loving the courses every time I play them. Mario Golf. I mean, every now and then I just get on Super Rush, man. I mean, you know what it is. It's just any time's a good time.
Yeah, you said you got your Yoshi costumes unlocked.
Yep, and you did as well, right?
Yep, this month was 3 Yoshis, the light blue, orange, and pink, right?
Yep.
And
it's so funny, but yeah, that was part of the news, or should have been. But these Yoshis are special to me because I actually played as the baby blue and the pink one in Yoshi Story.
Yep, and the pink Yoshi, besides the crafted Yoshi, because I love that one too. But other than that one, which I do semi-frequently, pink Yoshi is my go-to on Smash, and I absolutely love how he looks. So really excited to play with the pink Yoshi on Super Rush. Really excited for it. And it's even better because I think we both missed the first round of Yoshi Costumes, right? That was the only one we missed.
I hate...
but this makes that okay. It
upsets me so much, dude.
This makes it okay because now we have at least a Yoshi costume to play with, right?
I'm just at a place where I would never not miss one. We've been like that for a while. We might not have been like that at first or like really in the know, but now that I know what's up, dude, I wouldn't ever miss one.
We were a little late to the party on it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We at least have some Yoshi costumes now.
It does make it better, especially because it's ones that we like a lot.
Definitely.
But I've been playing Kirby. I mean, I know that's part of it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Same here, and we're going to talk about that more on the review, obviously.
I'm always picking up, boomer shooters and things of the nature. We've talked about them a lot recently. The next one I want to get into is Blood. I've never played all the way through Blood, but I got fresh supply on Steam, and I'm going to run through that.
Okay.
I have to finish Eternal first, though. Mm-hmm. I'm right at the end of Doom Eternal.
Nice. You've been playing that on PC?
Yes.
Nice.
Love it.
That's awesome.
One of the best shooters of all time, man. I actually pre-ordered Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers edition, ahead of time. And that just came out, I think, 3 days ago.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been seeing some of the Chrono games going on and off sale as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Chrono Trigger I saw on sale recently. It's funny because I pre-ordered it on Switch, and then I saw that it was on Steam, and I was like, oh, shit, man. I wonder if I should have got it for the Steam Deck. I went to the reviews. Glad I didn't. A lot of people doing a lot of complaining.
On Chrono Cross?
Yes, about the PC, about just the version on PC. Just issues. Pretty, the presence of negativity was there. So I was like, oh, I think I made the right decision because I don't think the Switch is going to have any issues running the game. No. I mean, all these ports run on the Switch as intended,
Yeah, I know that some of these RPGs, like the ports have varying levels of authenticity to the UI or to the engine, right? Like sometimes they don't always stay fully true to the original game in some ways. So like with some of these Final Fantasy ports that we've seen and stuff, some of the engines are a little bit wonky sometimes.
Yeah, but for the most part, I mean, any of these Square Enix ports of these older games that you've gotten on Switch, I haven't come across any issues.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm talking about on PC.
Yeah, definitely. I picked up a 2D game called Axiom Verge. I've had interest in. I saw on sale for $5.99 on the Switch. Looking forward to get into that. And the Halo Master Chief Collection, bro. Finally picked it up on Steam for $15.99. I think that sale's still running. But that's kind of a no-brainer, $15.99 for the Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, I picked it up when it was on sale for that, I think, previously. We might have even talked about it on the 3 Shop.
Yeah. But how about you, man?
I got a long list this time. I've been really varying up the gaming in the last 2 weeks.
And the retro. That's what I'm liking about this shit is Tyler's been really amping up on the influx of retro.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That's going to be my last mention.
Okay.
First thing I want to get out of the way, Pokemon Ultra Sun. This is a game that my fiance very kindly got me for last Christmas because I was kind of running her through my physical Pokemon game collection and mentioned that the Ultra games were one of the only things I didn't have access to. And she went and picked it up for me, and I never really played it because I had played Sun, never really got into Ultra Sun or anything like that. After she picked it up for me, never really had time. But I finally was like, you know what? I'm just going to pop it in, start a new save file. Like when I played Sun originally, I really blasted through the game without taking the normal time you would expect us to take, right? We would typically really try and explore the game to its fullest, and I didn't do that because around the time that game came out, my mentality was a little bit different with Pokemon than it was previous or it is now. So all that being said, I'm on the second island. I'm absolutely loving the game. I think it's incredible. A lot of nice upgrades from the Sun and Moon based games. And yeah, just been loving playing through that, man. It's been great.
I'm an Alolan boy. I mean, I love Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, love them.
Yep.
So I think that's fantastic.
Kirby, obviously, I wrote down, but we, as we mentioned, are going to be talking about that very shortly. Mario Golf, I got my Yoshis as well. Just wanted to mention that I enjoyed, I was playing Mario Golf while watching the Masters, which kind of happened.
You told me that earlier.
Yeah, it kind of happened unintentionally. And then when I realized what I was doing, I was like, this is kind of strange, but I rolled with it. And I'm glad I did. It was kind of an interesting feeling because I'm hearing these pros shooting and the crowd, sort of applauding them and everything. And I'm like, yeah, like they're applauding for me. Like
you're in the middle of your own golf endeavor.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I am Tiger Woods, but I'm also Boo. Anyway,
it kind of raises the stakes though.
A little bit. Yeah. So I really enjoyed that.
Because then you have those tense moments where everything's silent also, and you're probably taking your shot,
Exactly. So that was a pretty unique experience. Pretty silly, but I had fun. I had fun with that. I actually have played some Rock Band guitar the last couple weeks. We talked about Rock Band not that long ago, and it made me really want to play it. So I busted everything out finally, and got Rock Band 4 on the PS4 going. And
that is so funny that I don't mean to cut you off. That's so funny though. I literally just took the strings off my guitar to restring it for the first time in like a year and a half, dude.
That's awesome.
So that's weird timing.
Kind of. I don't equate Rock Band to real, musicianship in any way.
Of course, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
yeah. But I've been enjoying it.
Your guitar, my guitar.
It's a nice dexterity workout for my hands. You know what I mean? That's what I really was craving, was just that sort of like dexterous movement with my left hand. So
you need to get ring fit, bro.
I do want that. I am interested in that for sure.
Boy, that shit, it like adapts to you, right?
That's awesome.
So I think it adapted to me, you know, like when it's like, oh, squeeze the ring in as hard as you can. I'm using my big arms, just squeezing it right in as hard as I can. So I think it's like, okay, we got you. That's how hard you can squeeze. Now do it 60 times.
Yeah.
While you're squatted.
Oh,
and
man.
it punishes. Yeah, man. That shit really is punishing.
That's awesome, though.
Hey, definitely.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else you got for us, brother?
I played some Tony Hawk 1 and 2 on the Switch.
Cool.
I was playing that handheld with the Hori D-pad.
Oh,
That was nice. That was a really nice like PS2 feeling of just like
the
using
Pikachu
the
one.
D-pad.
That's the one you got?
Say what?
The Pikachu Hori D-pad?
Right here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Could not recommend it more. Did you actually pick up the Tony Hawk game or no?
I haven't.
Oh man, I think you would really enjoy it.
I think I'm lacking, yeah.
But yeah, the Hori D-pad, that was next level. Highly recommend.
Oh, man. The Hori D-pad, shout out.
Yep. And I was
Hori's been doing big things for a lot longer than we realize.
definitely, absolutely. But
I could be wrong, but I think Hori is behind the Super Game Boy. I could be wrong, but I think that's the case.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
We'll get to that. But
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
yeah. I played some Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. You got that for me for my birthday not too long ago.
Amazing game.
Yeah, really awesome. Like very difficult.
Amazing.
Very difficult as advertised, right? Like I knew that going into it, that was the reputation for the game. And that's what you want from a DKC game. Like
That stays very true to the country games.
That's what you look for is difficulty.
Yep.
So really excited to keep playing it. I only played the first few levels, but really nice game. Can't wait to see what they do with that 2D Donkey Kong franchise next for an actual like polished full Switch release. Like just do it, man. Just put it out.
Give us DK in the Forgotten Land, bro.
Oh my God. Stop teasing us. It doesn't have to be 3D. I'm happy with a full 2D game.
Yeah, me too. I'm happy with another Tropical Freeze, but I'd also be happy with even just like a levels from a world map type of game like Forgotten Land.
Definitely, dude. I started playing a little bit of Mario Tennis on the 64 online. I mentioned that earlier. I've been playing the tournaments a little bit, trying to win those. Man, that game's hard. Like the AI on that game is no joke. Like
I overcame when I was younger, but I got to tell you, dude, I had some asshole clinchers with the AI in that game when I was a kid.
Yeah, I lost a lot of times. I'm not even gonna front. Like,
and that match point music is not fucking around.
Yeah. So anytime you want to play tennis, man, I'm like primed up and ready for it.
Oh, definitely, man. You inspired me to get on and grind the characters out.
Yeah.
Because if one of us grinds the characters, then we both have access.
That's a great point. Never thought about that.
So think about it. Yeah, just get whoever's their 2-player.
That's a pretty good idea, man.
Yep.
I started back playing new Pokemon Snap.
Ooh, I've thought about doing this from time to time, dude.
Dude, they added content. I don't know if you knew this, but they added two entirely new zones to the game. I think it's post-game content because like when you launch the game, I hadn't launched the game since around the time it came out, which was coming up on a year ago. But it runs you through everything that's come out since the last time you launched the game. And for me, it was like stickers, 2 new levels, new frames, new this. Here's a gift, here's a gift, here's a gift. And I was loving it, man. So I just jumped in and just kept playing straight through, the next thing that I had going on. But the game, God, it's so great. It really, really feels good.
I can't imagine a photography-based game being better than this at any point in the future.
Yep. So I definitely have slept on that. It was on my backlog. I want to make progress on it, and I'm glad that I got some time on it recently, and I'm going to keep it up. But
Yeah, it's
definitely
really cool,
jump in
man.
there when you can, and at least take a look at what I'm talking about when it hits you with like 70 different unlocks as soon as you open the game.
Every time I open one of my cases of Switch games and I see new Pokemon Snap, I'm always like, I need to pop that back in.
Yeah.
Definitely soon.
Last but not least, I had a few things transpire in the last few days. That long story short, I have purchased a Super Nintendo Entertainment System, not Entertainment
Center.
I blew it. A Super Nintendo, and got quite a few games already and a couple games coming. Super Mario World and Donkey Kong Country. I have Street Fighter 2, Mario Paint, and one other game
With the
that is
mouse.
Say
with
what?
The mouse and the mouse and the mouse pad.
Yep.
You've got to bring it up.
Yeah. I was pretty excited to have that. A Game
should be.
Genie, a Super Game Boy, and Super Mario All Stars. So that's what I'm starting out with.
Fantastic.
Pretty excited for it.
Absolutely fantastic. The Super Game Boy is, it's just fantastic, man.
Yeah, really excited to test everything out. Excited
I
to
can't
play
wait for
Super
you to
Mario
pop
World
in.
as intended.
Oh yeah.
I've mentioned before to you and probably on the podcast, like I'm not in love with the control scheme on the Switch Online version. I have some trouble with it, some difficulty. So, no excuses if I'm playing on the original hardware. I gotta get on there and bust it out.
Yeah.
But that's
that'll
it.
be the best,
Super Nintendo.
the best way.
I got a few things already. The system itself and a couple of the games are still en route to being to me. And yeah, next episode I'll talk about actually playing it because I'm really excited to play some of these games. It's funny, I have a CRT in my game room, and underneath it I have my 64, my GameCube, my NES, which I just got recently, and then there's like a big hole next to the NES that's just been completely unoccupied by anything. So it works perfectly.
Absolutely. And I've accumulated so much shit, dude. I'm kind of living through you when you get these retro pickups, man, because it's really hype.
Yeah.
Plus, it's unexpected of you, man. I would have never thought that, the deal was sweet. I mean, I'll just put it was a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
An absolute no-brainer of a pickup.
Yeah, basically I had the option to purchase a few items from a friend of a friend that had some stuff that they were willing to part with. I purchased a few of the select items. And yeah, from there I was like, okay, well now I have a few games, so I need to buy the system, and I was able to get good deals on like the rest of the stuff that I wanted, really kind of like, shake loose a few different things on eBay and stuff like that. And
hell yeah,
pretty
dude.
excited.
Definitely, man.
But
we have a Kirby review to get into. I don't know if you're ready for it. Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Where
Tyler.
to begin with this game, dude? It's absolutely magnificent. Let me just come right out the gate and say that I'm absolutely in love with this game. It's charming. The music is incredible. The graphics are beautiful. The gameplay is like simple, but not like dumbed down. You know what I mean? Like
if you're reckless enough, you can start taking damage left and right in certain situations.
I just mean like in the sense of the controls are easy to understand, but they don't feel super basic, or anything like that. So yeah, man, how have you found the game? I know we both have played through the first world and part of the second world, and that's kind of where we're at the moment. But we've got all the core mechanics.
With it. I'm infatuated with the game. I think it's absolutely fantastic. The graphics, like I said before, it's kind of got that Luigi's Mansion 3 polish on it.
Definitely.
The cutscenes and just some of the things you see on here, incredible. You know what I mean? Kind of like whenever you were entering the mall. We said we were going to talk about the mall level.
I would love to.
And that really was a big marketing thing for this game. They really used that mall as a showcase, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what sticks out the most from the initial trailer and everything.
Yeah, and the demo itself had a bit of a preview, not the full level we got. But just when I remember walking up and entering that mall, just the scale of everything around, and just the way you move, it really is like, we've said it so many times, jokingly, not jokingly, Kirby Odyssey.
That level feels more like it than any other because it is more open-ended than most of the levels.
Yeah, there's the game has shown so much potential for there to be upward depth, not just side to side or even forward and backward, but there's a lot of depth up and down.
Multi-level stages and everything, like 2 tiers on the same screen and everything.
Like I said, whenever you enter the mall and then you're coming up the escalator, but the camera's looking down from overhead, and then you realize that there's this branching surrounding walkway there's really nothing of any particular interest, but it is a big, wide, traversable walkway, and then the rest of the level's off to the right.
Yep.
The levels are not so streamlined that you're just zipping to the end.
No, there's a lot of side paths to investigate.
Or like how, and the mall also showed like you can enter any of the different shop or storefronts and go to a different section of the level you haven't been before. Yep. I mean, there's a lot of replayability, and I think that's a big thing to bring up, especially considering the mission objectives, which is, to me and you, probably the biggest thing.
Definitely. That adds the most interesting gameplay.
Imagine if there was a Mario thing like this, where you had like New Super Mario Bros. 2 or, any of the New Super Mario Bros. Games, but there were these types of
side quests.
Yeah, kill 10 Goombas with fireballs. You know what I mean? Like just little tasks to complete in each level.
I think that's an interesting concept, and I could see, especially a 3D Mario game, I could see them implementing that. I mean, Bowser's Fury is like on the cusp, because some of these cat shines, you have to do some really specific stuff, and some of them are hidden in some of these really specific ways that are on the cusp of being like this, right? So I don't think it's like that far off. Like the stars that were around the castle on Super Mario 64, like in the castle itself, Definitely. So, but this is like named objectives that have a collectible associated. So it's a little bit different in that it's part of your completion of a certain stage to get all these collectibles. This more on the like Donkey Kong Country side, where you don't have the level completed until you've gotten all these collectibles. It's just a little bit differently laid out.
Yeah, and also it's funny that you can breeze through them, or you can collect everything. And I love that the first few levels in were kind of like no-brainers. You're going to unlock everything. Like the way we play the games and the way the levels are designed, just bringing you in.
You're not going to miss much.
Not going to miss much. But you start getting closer to the second world and getting into the second world, you start realizing that these tasks are not obvious.
No.
I mean, they're question marked before you actually stumble upon even attempting what it is.
Yeah, and
I think that's the coolest part.
Beating the stage unlocks one description. So that's one thing I found out, is that if you miss 2 of the hidden ones, it only tells you what one of them is once you clear the stage. So you're having to clear these stages 3 and 4 times to get all these objectives, which I actually like.
I do too. And the mall, back to the mall. I mean, that's a perfect example. Like I said, I haven't eaten the 4 donuts yet. I mean, there's a specific path you obviously have to take through the mall, I guess, to get the 4 donuts.
That's correct.
But I almost wonder if there's any of these that you would have to go back and do a second time, or all of them you can get them all in one go. That's what the mall made me wonder about the game. Not, we haven't completed it, of course. We're reviewing it off of the presentation that's been laid on us with what we've played.
Yeah.
But it makes you, it makes you wonder.
You would I feel like you could, but it would be unlikely. Like
because one of those mission objectives is get through the mall without getting lost.
Mm-hmm. Which
so
means
I wonder if
following like the diagrams and everything.
Yeah, that you use the mouthful mode to expose. I don't know. Just a thought, but I mean, it's a thought that comes from a great idea, these objectives.
Yeah, I think they added a lot with that. The very first, like, the boss at the end of World 1, we're not going to spoil too much, but...
of course.
One of the objectives for that level is to beat the boss taking no damage. Now that, when I read that, that's what gets me going, right? Something that's actually, like... There's a skill ceiling to it. That's what gets me really excited to play. Because, of course, I'm sitting here playing with my fiance. We're clearing it in co-op and everything. And
Same.
then,
that's how I started playing it.
And then we get to this level, and something like this, it's strictly easier to do with one player to not take any damage, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. So we took turns trying it, and I was eventually able to get it, but it took me a good few tries, and I love that, man. Difficulty and a skill ceiling in a game that is, simple on its face. That's what we live for. And I think Nintendo has started to realize this, and they've started to implement this where even in games that are intended to be family friendly, they add elements for people who are grinders, right? Who want to grind more difficult aspects. And it's almost like a hidden game mode where you have a much higher skill cap. And I really, really like that. And I think they're doing a great job.
Definitely. No question. And on the subject of difficulty, it makes me want to talk about Treasure Road.
Oh, man. It's part and parcel with what we're talking about for sure.
What a fantastic addition. What you were just talking about reminded me of the Ninja speed runs from Super Mario Maker 2.
Yep.
Like a monthly online competition for people who are serious about speedrunning Mario.
This has a similar concept built into the game.
Yeah, of course. I don't know if there's leaderboards or anything like that, but at the same time, I like that the times they give you, like when you master it, you might get,
there was a couple of
a few seconds shaved off the time, but the times that they provide for you are pretty fair enough to give you a decent challenge, I think.
There's a couple that I'd had to try quite a few times. I mean, I'll just be honest, like the sword challenge in the second world, getting that time was really hard for me.
That's one of them.
The hammer challenge as well. That took me a few tries where you have to you have to hit the switches and platform. Yeah. That was pretty tough as well to make time.
I really think they're designed to have to get familiar with, honestly. I don't think anybody's really jumping in first time, wrecking that time.
No question, but that's what I enjoy. I want to sit here and have to try it a few times.
Oh yeah, I don't mind spending 20 minutes on, figuring out just a level like that.
Because then when you get it and it's like, 1 minute, 4 seconds, 0.998, and you're like, oh, it's just like pure dopamine.
Yeah, man, it's such a great addition. And the overworld map itself, just beautiful, just a great presentation. The way as you complete these worlds, it just opens up more of it.
Yeah, it reminds me of 3D World in that way, where the overworld is very interactive.
Yeah, and it's like traversable in all directions. Mm-hmm. You gotta love that. And it's just Kirby riding on a star.
Sterling, I want to talk to you about Waddle Dee Town.
I'm so glad you said that because that was my next point of entry on this review.
This brings an element to the Kirby franchise that we've not had before. Something about leveling up power-ups and growing the feature set of the Waddle Dee Town and building up the infrastructure of the Waddle Dee Town. We love that. We absolutely love it.
Absolutely. And all mission objectives tie into saving them.
Yeah. The more of these like Waddle Dees you save, which is what all these side quests that we're referring to give you, like that's the collectible that you earn is saving a Waddle Dee. The more you get, the quicker you upgrade your town and the more options you have there. And I think that that's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, they're almost like a form of currency.
Pretty much, yeah.
For a building unlocking.
Or like stars in Super Mario 64 or like bananas in Donkey Kong 64 where you just unlock X amount of the game by, getting more and more of this collectible.
Yeah, and by the way, when you unlock the Waddle Dee, the delivery service, man, there's a lot of codes.
Definitely.
For a lot of goodies. I mean, they had some codes they gave us when you finished the demo. Mm-hmm. And then they had some more I saw on the news, like the Switch News tab. They had some codes on one of the random articles.
What do they give you? I haven't actually used this at all.
A bunch of them give coins.
Do they give you any costumes or anything?
I don't think anything like that.
All right.
Most of it's like the star coins, rare stones, things like that.
Nice.
But I wanted to point out to everybody that if you look up codes like for the delivery, the Kirby's version of Mystery Gift, there's a lot, man. There's actually a lot of active codes. You should look into that.
Yeah, I will. That's awesome.
And I'm sure you don't have to finish the demo. I don't think everybody's code specific. It's like very obvious phrases. Kirby things,
I did finish the demo though.
Yeah. Just for anybody who didn't, maybe, they can get
definitely.
the same code redemption. But Waddle Dee Town is kind of like not fully there, but it's on that Chow Garden wavelength. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
It's just a cozy home base.
Yeah, there's a few games that I love with a game mechanic of like upgrading your port town or your base town, and that gives you more features. It's a lot like Loop Hero, if you think about it.
Yeah,
you kind of upgrade.
You're right.
I mean, it really has some of that vibe to it.
That's a good point, huh? Yeah. As you progress through the game, your home base kind of develops.
Yeah, you level up your camp, and that unlocks certain features for you.
Going to Waddle Dee Town almost feels familiar. It almost feels like going to Mushroom Kingdom on Odyssey,
Yep.
Maybe it's just a natural feeling. I don't know.
Definitely.
But they definitely made that as what is kind of like a new place for Kirby. It kind of made it feel nostalgic, though.
Yeah, in at least the Kirby games I've never played, Kirby's never had like a base of operations. Like it always felt like he was just out questing through this world.
And I know we talked about how we don't like to use the word gimmick in certain situations. You know what I mean? Mm. But I feel like so many of the 3D, more recent Kirby games have always had some type of gimmick or some caveat. Something to it that was like kind of diverged from the original Kirby formula in a non-drastic to mildly drastic way. This is so true to the flat Kirby formula. In a 3D space is beautifully done. When you play as Kirby, I mean, he's never felt this intuitive. Even beyond like playing him in Smash. This is just like, he's got a dodge mechanic. I was thinking about the fastest ways to travel in this game. Oh, I think spamming B on the needle, the needle Kirby, something about that makes you go really fast. Yeah. I realized that yesterday, actually. Because I was like, whenever you start it up, you just like boost forward, So I started spamming B, and I just kept boosting. I'm like, I wonder if this is optimal for travel. And you're killing anything.
Absolutely. Just gotta watch they don't catch you in between rolls.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you, man, what would you consider your favorite ability?
That's tough. That's really tough.
Really tough. I hate to put you on the spot like that. I can tell you, on any 2D Kirby that's on, I used to be a sword boy.
Sword is a good one.
Yes.
I love the line of the boomerangs. The second boomerang is really good. The one that just stays and spins.
Absolutely.
I like that a lot. I don't know. I've always enjoyed the fire.
I'm a big fire boy. Oh yeah.
I've always enjoyed the fire.
Moment.
And I've always enjoyed ice as well.
Mm-hmm. The cool thing about ice in this game is that you actually skate around, and I think you move faster than his traditional running speed.
Have you done the Ice Treasure Road?
Yes.
It's like a mechanic to jump with that. Like,
dude, yes. The skating is so...
It's its own. It's got its own like set of speed and jump and everything mechanics.
When I first realized it, when I first picked up the ice pickup, that's such a beautiful touch because it's very unique to the other ones. Not you're not used to them affecting mobility,
right?
But in this case, man, like I said, I do feel like it's faster to skate than it is even to run. Mm-hmm. But it's hard picking favorite abilities. All of them, especially when you start evolving them and you start seeing the potential of them. You know?
And I'm really curious to see what some of them look like when upgraded. Especially, I think they said they go up to level 4. Did I imagine that?
Was it 4?
I don't know. I feel
if
like
it's 4, I thought it was 3. So I'd be shocked if it was 4. That's wild.
I can't remember, but either way, even if it is just 3, just seeing what the max upgrades of some of these abilities turns out to be is going to be really exciting.
Even when I upgraded the fire to the volcano, that shit is crazy, bro.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's so strong.
It's like, it's not a mild upgrade. It's a serious upgrade.
It's a completely different mechanic at that point. That's why
you would think it was final form.
Back. They let you go back if you want, which I really like as well. There's some variability to it.
Yep. The level design on this game, I think, is something that needs praise.
Definitely.
I think these levels are very well designed. They bring it in very steadily. They show off a lot of right when like that dynamic, like we talked about, walking up to the mall, seeing how big it is compared to Kirby's. That's kind of like when you first wash up on the beach. It's the same. Yeah, you get the scale of how big everything around you is. And
it's funny, man. That very first level when you wash up on the beach and you're just going straight north, all I could think about was Crash Bandicoot. Because that's like literally the same exact way that the first Crash Bandicoot starts. Like, it's like the exact same. So I was getting some serious deja vu from that.
No shit.
Yeah, but
I didn't think about
I completely
Crash.
agree. The levels, at least so far, they're linear, right? Like there is a start point and end point, and you are on, for the most part, one path. With the exception, there's exceptions, right? Obviously, but for the most part, it is a linear progression. But everything branches drastically at times, and there's a lot of variability to the side paths and everything, and it doesn't feel like a railroad. Even though the level layout is linear, it doesn't feel forced. Like you have the freedom to explore, which I really, really feel like they've hit a good balance with that.
Yeah, it's a lot more environmental than something like Super Mario 3D World. You know what I mean? There was a lot of environmental things in the game, but I feel like there's environment everywhere in this game. Except maybe, Treasure Road it exists as its own abyss or different dimension, kind of. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, they went with such a fantastic art direction for the game, and really that art direction was keeping it true. Just polishing what they already had. I'm glad that they don't ever deviate. Like that's my favorite thing about this game is that they stayed so true to Kirby.
Yeah, it feels like a Kirby game through and through. Like you would never mistake it for anything else.
Yep, like I said before, you can explain the mechanics of Kirby's Adventure on NES, and you basically could play that game and then jump into this game and figure it out very quickly if you're familiar, even with that. The mechanics are basic, but here they add new elements. I mean, now Kirby's got a dodge roll. We talked about that earlier with the boss. Like once you get that timing down, it's cool. It's like Kirby suddenly is on some Dark Souls shit. He's dodging, he's countering.
Yeah.
The bosses are something they deserve praise for as well, man. I feel like they really made these big boss battles pretty big.
It was like a Breath of the Wild vibe when the boss came out.
Yeah, they're trying to show the scale. Kirby is such a little small fellow, you know what I'm saying? And everything is very large. I mean, you got the scope of that when you're going through the mall and like the boss like kind of just crashes in and grabs you. You see how big he is looking in through the window,
Mm-hmm.
So they do a really good job with just that scale of everything being so gigantic,
Yeah.
And they do a good job packing these games with content, dude.
I agree.
Because you probably would have enough of a game without the treasure roads. If you just went straight through the levels, you'd probably be more than
Definitely.
pleased.
You would never even have an expectation for a different element.
But it's like every 2 seconds you're unlocking 2 new treasure road challenges.
Yeah, almost every level it feels like.
Yeah. Yep. Which are integral to you evolving your abilities because you need those stars you get,
Yeah.
So it kind of drives people to get good at the mechanics of the game because you require a currency from these challenges.
Yep, and it's its own specific currency that unlocks you stuff in Waddle Dee Town, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, I think so. The thing about Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Tyler, is I can go on about it all day.
Yeah, the soundtrack, man, I just cannot get some of the music from this game out of my head. It just gets wedged in there.
They put a lot of love and care into the music. And they put a lot of love and care into Kirby's music in general. They recently dropped a video with some of that orchestra footage of them performing some Kirby music for his anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And like the music is absolutely fantastic. I mean, it deserves the type of fanfare that like the Mario orchestra even, did for Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
I love when they put serious effort and serious talent into the music for these games because they really deserve it. And it's appreciated.
Definitely.
I mean, none of these scores we get are unappreciated. It's all, music to our ears, literally and figuratively.
Absolutely, yeah. I agree.
But any thoughts you wanted to throw in about the game, man? I mean, I think our feelings are clear, but I think we've touched on just about everything I wanted to talk about. I mean, the collectibles are one thing before we close out. Melee vibes all day long.
Oh, like the trophies and everything?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You love that.
I do.
And I noticed there's like 49 or so available, but that just says volume 1. I feel like that leaves room for there to be multiple volumes of collectibles.
Absolutely. And I think as we get later into the game and maybe even more stuff will come out in the future, like we'll see some really interesting trophies available.
Yeah, I could see some type of DLC at some point also.
I think that's almost a given at this point. Like, I don't think we're going to see many AAA games without DLC for the near future. Like,
yeah,
I think that, if there is content that can be offered for a premium, like, why not do it? I think that's kind of the mentality,
Definitely.
It is what it is.
I'm looking forward to grinding through this game, enjoying every second of it, and I have so far. I mean, it's fantastic, man. The co-op it's great. It's amazing, dude.
Waddle Dee feels like a real character who has like some play, like completely different mechanics than Kirby, but not unsatisfying to play with.
Very fun to play paired up with Kirby.
Definitely.
I mean, it's a great mixture. So And it's cool that you can just pick up whenever co-op also.
Yeah, definitely Luigi's Mansion vibe on that for sure.
Yep. It has continue, or it has continue co-op, or you can just go to Waddle Dee Town and just pick him up there.
You can co-op straight in the level.
Oh, yeah. There's also an option, it seems, where you could talk to him, though. I guess that's whenever you're not co-op and he's standing there like an NPC.
Yeah.
But
yeah, man, that's pretty much it for me. I really big fan of the game. My fiance, who's a big Kirby fan, she is loving the game. So yeah, we're going to keep playing it, keep grinding it out, and anything else that's surprising we find, we'll make sure we talk about here.
Definitely, bro. But I don't know if you're intimidated or excited or how you're feeling, but
we'll call it excitement.
It's time to get into the excitement of Volume 1 of the Star Road Hall of Fame.
Big things happening here, Sterling.
Big things. This is the first 5. So you see, there's always going to be room for more, but the first 5 is a big thing.
Yep.
So how about I put the curse of you starting onto you?
All right.
I would like to hear your first entry.
So no honorable mentions this time. We just went clean cut.
It's 5.
5 goats.
And I don't even think the order matters.
It
honestly.
doesn't.
It doesn't.
It really doesn't. They're all in the pantheon, like you said earlier.
Absolutely.
But my number 5, the first thing I want to talk about, already mentioned it this episode. So excited to have it. Super Mario World, Super Nintendo. In my opinion, it's the greatest, 2D Mario experience there is. People will argue for that versus SMB3. I think that you can make a case either way. For my money, Super Mario World, that's my only Mario game, my only pure Mario game on this list. That's my number 1 in the Star Road Hall of Fame on my side, Sterling.
I knew it was coming, and I agree with the pick. And we could really just talk about both of our picks, because I'm going to go in first with the perfect time and with Super Mario Bros. 3.
Unbelievable.
I'm not going to get with... Let's talk about the Mario thing. We wouldn't have gotten 2 Super Mario World if it wasn't for 3.
No question.
3 was we always talk about World being the logical next step. And if you would have asked me when I was a kid, World is aeons above everything, right? But as an adult, I have a supreme appreciation for 3. And I can't shake it. I just think it's fantastic. I think it's the game where Mario finally got the world of Mario finally found.
Became what it is.
Yes. Yeah. It finally realized, because you got Super Mario Bros. The first one. It is what it is, and it's amazing, but it's primitive, and Mario hasn't really gained personality. The world hasn't gained that personality yet.
Yep. Lost Levels / Japan SMB2. No mechanical...
Same representation.
Yeah, no mechanical difference. It's just a much harder, more trolly game of the same...
And the American 2 was a whole nother game.
That was an entirely different game that was almost like a black sheep, just because it was so incredibly different.
I'm a fan of Mario too, but
I'm a big fan of that game.
3 is when they really, truly hit the absolute sweet spot.
I agree.
World is just a logical next step, and they're the Mario games, that main series Mario games that deserve to be on the Hall of Fame.
I completely agree.
3 in World. If there were 2 Hall of Famers for the main line. That's it.
I actually chewed on 64 and Odyssey for my list.
I even thought I thought about them as well, but I also thought about Galaxy. Now, that's not first Hall of Fame
No.
per se, but
In
I
the
really
future,
do think
most of
Galaxy
these will
brought
probably
something.
make it in.
Yeah, Galaxy brought something to the table that I think was special. I don't know. Playing it later on and not early.
Yeah.
But I know you got another one for us, Tyler, so how about you fire it off? So far, we've got Super Mario World and Super Mario Bros. 3.
The next one is going to be Age of Empires 2. And I've talked about this as recently as last episode. I'm pretty sure this was on my list for that episode. So I don't want to spend all day talking about this game, even though I could. But this game is from 99. The community is still active. The game is still receiving new content, new updates, new revisions. To this day, they actually just came out with DLC recently, and I think there's more in the pipeline still for a game that's 23 years old. So for me, it's always been there, and it always will be. Age of Empires 2.
Timeless.
Gotta shout it out.
I'm loving it. I'm here for it. And I'm going to throw my PC pick out since you came with the PC pick. And it's Quake. It's Quake.
Absolutely. I mean, if this wasn't on your list, I would have been very confused.
It's got to go in the Hall of Fame. Mine, the Hall of Fame, whatever Hall of Fame it is.
This is the podcast Hall of Fame. It's for everyone.
Oh, but I mean, it was a major milestone in gaming, period.
Definitely.
That's why I say that, you know.
Sure, yeah.
Now, I found my fandom for the game a bit later on, of course, but then again, like I said, I would have never been 4 years old on the PC playing Quake when it came out.
Yeah.
That wasn't a reality in my life, you know.
Yeah.
But it's never too late, like you always say, dude.
That's right.
And here it is in the Hall of Fame. So PC games.
That's right.
So we got 2 Mario games, 2 PC games.
Yep.
That's where we're at.
My next one's a GameCube game.
Oh.
Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Super Smash Bros. Melee, dude. I told you I had a list of 10 or so. Melee was on that list of 10 or so.
I mean, a
lot of these are going to be like collaborative in our minds. And this is definitely a case of that.
Yeah, all of mine, this is really like the pinnacle, like you said, of no particular order, because my list of 5 could literally be in any order whatsoever.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, what is there to say? It's for a game from 2001, 2 years newer than Age of Empires, by the way, that is also still played to this day. And does not receive any content updates, does not receive any support from its parent company whatsoever, and still continues to thrive despite that, which is almost more impressive than Age of Empires, because Microsoft has picked back up with the game, whereas Nintendo, as far as we know, other than them sending out cease and desists, they don't acknowledge the game's existence. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I think that's impressive that the community still continues to play this game, 21 years later. I mean, it's a lifetime, for some people.
Definitely. Like you said before, I mean, it's the reason that the GameCube controller is still being manufactured. Yep. I mean, it's like the sole reason, basically. So it speaks volumes for the game, and it's just one of the many reasons why it should be in the Hall of Fame, brother.
Yeah, and I recently found out that there's a bar near me that does weekly Ultimate and Melee tournaments.
You texted me that.
Yeah. So I am very out of practice on all of the above, but...
hey, we should get some practice in, dude. You can bring the Mewtwo.
Dude, I'm ready anytime, man. I'm always down to smash anytime. What's your number 3, Sterling?
That's a good clip right there. Yeah. Oh, now I want to make a soundboard just because you said that. There had to be a 3D console platformer on the first round of entries.
Yeah, I don't have one.
I have zero shame and zero regret in selecting Ape Escape as that 3D console platformer.
That's a great pick.
I feel like if you know, you just know. Ape Escape is a fantastic game.
Yeah.
I think it has aged gracefully. It was the beginning of, basically the beginning of dual stick gaming on a television.
I mean, it was, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but what a beginning it was. It's just a game I hold in such high regard, and it's in the Hall of Fame. How about that, brother?
It's a great
pick.
I
love Ape Escape. I mean, you know what it is.
I do.
I've talked about the game enough.
Yeah, but it's a great pick, man. I think that's an awesome pick.
It just screams Hall of Fame to me.
My number 2 is probably the most infamous game between you and I. My 2 and my 1 are. You know what it is. Just say it.
Do I know what it is off top?
It's another GameCube game originally. Only for a Nintendo GameCube.
Resident Evil 4.
Has to be.
Sometimes I don't pick things for certain segments because I know Tyler's going to pick them. This may or may not have been one of them.
What can I say about this game, dude? This is the most iconic game that we have probably. I mean, this and you know what is going to end up being my number 1 cumulatively makes up probably 75% of our friendship, like just in volume of conversation.
It's wild, dude.
It's wild. I mean, this game, there's very few games where if it exists on a system, I have to own it for that system if I own the system. No exceptions, like nothing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I own this on like 3-4 different platforms, easy. And, you know, it's just one of the greatest games ever made at the base level.
Absolutely.
In my mind.
There's few games I've played through as many times as that game.
Definitely.
Particularly on Pro. I feel like you and I just have...
That's my base. Like, that's my base where I want to be.
Yeah. It's a fantastic game. If you know anything about us, you know it belongs here. The next one I wanted to bring up, we're going a bit further back, but I feel like I'd be doing an injustice to myself and the legacy of this podcast if I didn't bring Tetris up. In my case, it was the Game Boy, but I'd like to include the NES version. You know, Tetris in any iteration in its definitive form. I just consider its definitive form to be Game Boy and NES. Mm-hmm. We've talked about Tetris DS being possibly the ultimate Tetris experience.
That was an amazing game.
Absolutely, but just Tetris in general, it's the first game I played. The second game I played is probably going to be on the next 5. But Tetris had to be on this just for the legacy.
Great pick, man. I mean, that's like the definition of what this list is.
It's what got me into gaming, man.
A lot of people could say that too.
And it's so funny because at the time, you know, it's not like I was alive for the launch of the Game Boy
right.
of the DMG. So this was a few years old.
It was after the fact.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it still hit you in the same way as if it had come out that day.
Yeah. So I had a bit of a lag on my exposure. You know, I might be a bit more of an old head than other people our age because of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
But because of it, Tetris is on the list.
Well, I'll go ahead and get my number 1 out there. Pokemon Gold and Silver. This is the like somehow even more than Resident Evil 4, like the core of our friendship. I mean, this is what our friendship is built on, right? Like from kindergarten, first grade onwards. So yeah, I mean, these are games that still are good to me to this day. I mean, I could pick up and play Gen 2 at any point, and feel comfortable with it. I recently started playing through Heart Gold again, which is great. It's not the same, right? Like, you know, not even to be like a Gen 1 or you know, a like, you know, even though it's Gen 2, you know what I mean? Like that sort of mindset of it. But there's something about the music and the graphics of the original Gen 2 games that hits me in such a special place because it's so raw, but it's so high quality. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And I feel like, you see, I'm a Game Boy lover. I mean, that's always going to be just the DMG, and just the old Game Boys are always going to be like my favorite devices. Mm-hmm. And I feel like silver and gold, and just those two games are just the best experience you could ask for on a Game Boy.
Definitely. I'm so excited to see what those games look like on the Super Game Boy.
That's literally what I was going to close off the gold and silver talk with, was as soon as you get that, you've got to pop in Pokemon TCG, and you've got to pop
I didn't realize
gold,
TCG
silver,
was a DMG game.
TCG, I've tried to tell you this before. It is a DMG
I know about
game.
gold and silver, obviously.
Yeah. But absolutely, it's one of those black cartridges, and it actually has a special border on the Super Game Boy, like a custom border for trading card game.
I have to play that.
Yeah, so it's going to look better than it ever has, and it's going to have a custom border. That any of the games for Game Boy, if you look on them, that have they have a game pack type of label on them. So something about like Super Game Boy, you know, they're enhanced on it.
That's awesome.
So like, see, I have Donkey Kong for Game Boy. Mm-hmm. That's one of like the prime examples of a game that like the definitive way to play it is on the Super Game Boy. They make it to where the true graphical potential lies within the Super Game Boy for certain games.
That's so hype. I didn't even I didn't even realize this. So I definitely still have my
There's
copy.
There's actually custom borders on the Super Game Boy.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
A lot of presets you could draw on the screen. Like, there's features to the Super Game Boy.
That's awesome.
It's really not just like when you play the Game Boy game, you kind of have like a menu.
I can't wait to try it out. I've never used one in my life.
There's a reason that it's like my favorite accessory, dude.
Yeah. I'm really excited I have one.
The TV Game Boy. You should be excited. But does this leave just my number one?
It sure does.
Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars.
The one thing that I am going to have to track down for my collection.
This is one that I'm going to be honest with you, Tyler. This is the Super Nintendo game that you have got to own.
I don't have a way to play it beyond emulation otherwise.
And it's so funny I say that even without that being the case. But yeah. And I said it before. Before, when I tried to emulate the game just to play it on an emulator. I mean, I own the cartridge, but I was playing it on an emulator. I felt like every time I try to play it on a ROM, it would freeze somewhere at Boomer's Castle. I don't know what's up with that.
Not sure. I would rather just play the original, but it didn't you say the cartridge is getting up there?
The cartridge is like between 100 and 120.
I'm not spending that. I'm going to have to find a deal.
But
that's
you have to get one without a label.
I'm not above it. I'm going to be honest with you. I want to play the game.
I couldn't bring myself to get a game without a label.
It depends on how good the deal is, right?
Yeah. I definitely am always about some personality, some wear on a cartridge, you know.
Definitely. I mean, that's the way to order. A tear is not or just a label missing or shredded is not something I would normally go for. But if the game is at a deep discount on something that I want that I can't reasonably justify purchasing otherwise, you know, but I don't think I would get it on a deep enough discount to make it worth it for this particular game.
It's a shame that there's no digital way to play this, because this is one of the greatest games of all time. And it's kind of weird to look back and think that things like Pokemon, of course, but this game really put me into the Square Enix, Final Fantasy, everything we talk about. This game really just pulled me completely into all of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, this is the one. And it's a perfect way to do that, because you have someone like me who's a child who's a fan of Mario. Then somehow I wind up with this game. I don't even remember how I wound up with it, but I had it all through childhood, you know. I still have the copy, gladly or happily, because I'm not going to pay $120, even me. So it's just sad that there's no way to play it officially, but maybe they'll change that. Who knows?
We've heard speculation, but haven't seen much official on the subject, even as Square Enix and Nintendo have really gotten cozy with each other as of late. Like,
you know, it's funny. I know this is the Hall of Fame, but I wanted to randomly mention I saw they announced Kingdom Hearts 4 this morning.
Oh,
I was
really?
taking a shit. I watched the trailer. Yeah.
Nice. Does it look interesting? No comment. TBD.
I'm not sure. I haven't played the third one.
I haven't played.
I have no idea what's going on in the Kingdom Hearts universe.
I haven't played much of them. I've played the first one a little bit and the second one a little bit, but other than that, I'm pretty ignorant of the franchise.
All the way through one, multiple times through Chain of Memories, and a little bit of two. Mm-hmm. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Big fans of all of them that I played, but the final 10 for today's entries has been laid down.
Carved in stone.
10 games in the vault, dude.
Yep.
And it's this is one I don't think we're ever going to look back and think, oh, I should have picked blank. I think this is going to be a pinnacle.
No,
you know?
There's games that I know will be on the short list for the next time around, but I can't see replacing anything on this list.
Never. And it makes it so interesting because, not that we're going to do them frequently, but when we do them, every time we do one, I find we're going to surprise each other more and more.
Well, yeah, because the pool gets more and more limited, right? These 10 games are now gone.
Like a lot of your list is shit that would have been next round for me.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
RE4,
I'm going to pick
Pokemon.
RE4.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm going to pick Super Mario World also, along with 3. So, you know, that just simplifies it, dude. It's a collaborative thing, and I'm feeling pretty strongly about it.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with it too, man.
I also have a very nice 3-shot plan for today, bro.
I can't wait to hear it.
Featuring a thing I told you about earlier that I thought you might be pretty interested in. Little Nightmares 2, a game we've talked about before. Now, usually it goes on sale, but not like this. From $29.99 to $14.99. 50% off until April 20th.
Okay. So we got a few days on that.
There's a demo available. I know you played the demo, though.
I have. Multiple times.
So we got 10 days left on that sale, dude. Chew on it. Think about it. It's a masterpiece.
Yep. I haven't played through 1 yet. I have it. I have the complete edition on Switch, but I just haven't played it yet.
Well, luckily, 2's a prequel.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
Sonic Mania. I think I also mentioned that to you.
Yep. And I own this, and I bought it on a similar sale before.
Yep. We've both picked this up and love the game. Sonic Mania is on sale from $19.99 to $9.99. Also 50% off until the 17th.
Now, if you're a Sonic fan, you've already got this game. But if you don't, for some reason, just get it. It's the best 2D Sonic game in years. I mean, this is already known.
Yeah, like if you were to buy a Switch and you needed Sonic
You're like,
on
I need
day
one
one,
Sonic
I just say,
game on my Switch to
pick up
play.
Sonic
This
Mania.
is the one.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. And last on the 3-shop, Picross S Genesis and Master System Edition. I think I brought this game up recently. It's on sale from $9.99 to $7.99, 20% off until the 21st. 11 days left on that. There's also a demo available for all of these Picross games I've talked about. But I think this is a great one to get started if anybody was ever interested because of the Sega Genesis Master System thing. It's cool because you're working towards kind of like unlocking all these game specific sprites, like models of random items and stuff from Genesis games you recognize, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty cool that they have a themed Picross game where you like every puzzle. It's not, you know, a lot of the times it's random objects and random things. This one is like this from that game.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, like energy pickup from Sonic and things like that, you know. And that's the 3-shot, brother. And I think that's the episode.
It's been a real one, man.
We did a whole Hall of Fame today, man.
We did. I feel good about it.
I feel good about it too.
Well, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or feedback, please send them along to starroadpodcast@gmail.com. Also, you can find our videos on YouTube. Feel free to like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell. Did I get all of that, Sterling?
I think you covered just about everything there is to cover, Tyler.
And yeah, that's going to bring us to the end, ladies and gentlemen.
We'd like to wish peace and love to everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.